The Navajo Dam Spillway. As a kid, I would always get excited whenever I would see it when we would go camping. It was always an amazing sight to see for a kid riding in the back seat, headed to the lake to have a good time. And I clearly remember my parents telling me the story that seemed more like a legend, about how a man once went over the edge in an inner tube, plummeting to his death. Most local people had most certainly heard of the story. Navajo Dam was completed in 1963. 10 years later, by 1973, the dam proved worthy as the lake filled up with full capacity, and for the first and only time, the water of Navajo Dam broke over the edge of the spillway in the spring of 1973, which created an attraction. People all around wanted to come and witness the water coming off the spillway, and according to witnesses, it was a sight to see. As the summer of 1973 arrived, one man's fascination with the spillway became something much more, who was 23-year-old Kevin Robert Levan, who according to his girlfriend intended to go down the Navajo Dam's overflowing spillway because it was, quote, just something that he had to do. On June 25th, 1973, the lake began to pour over the brow of the spillway for the first time since the dam was completed a decade earlier. On Friday, July 13th, the lake was still overflowing to a depth of 13 inches on the spillway crest. About 3:30 that afternoon, Kevin Levan, a veteran of the United States Navy, and his girlfriend Anita drove to the top of the dam, where Kevin walked down to the inflow channel of the spillway, where he entered the water on an inner tube, wearing a ski belt and a helmet. Meanwhile, his girlfriend drove down to the bottom of the dam to witness the event and to pick him up. If he had second thoughts once he was in the channel, it was too late. The overflowing waters sucked him toward the rumbling precipice at the top of the 350-foot-long concrete slope. Jim and Gail Wood of Las Cruces, New Mexico, were at the top of the spillway, and they also watched and witnessed as Kevin slipped over the thundering edge. He apparently survived the fall, but his girlfriend said when he reached the bottom he struck concrete on the right side of the stilling basin, where he never surfaced. Authorities were called to the scene, and his body was recovered at 6:45 p.m. that evening, and the cause of death was said to be drowning secondary to a concussion. At some point, the inner tube, the ski belt, and the helmet were torn from his body and were recovered downstream. Kevin Robert Levan graduated from the Aztec High School in 1967 and went on to serve in the United States Navy through the Vietnam War on the USS Fletcher, which is a destroyer, and he is buried in the Aztec Cemetery. The waters of Navajo Lake have never gone over the spillway since that summer